Between Pages and Friends, a book club podcast hosted by Con and Lauren, two besties who read a lot of books, and Jon and Kyle, our 5-star husbands who've agreed to read with us. I'm Lauren.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Jon.
And I'm Con. Today we are finally diving into all things Quicksilver with a Q&A bonus episode. There was no assigned reading for this week, so you automatically get an A+ for attendance today, so long as you report your presence in the comments. We will be answering all your burning questions about Quicksilver by Kelly Hart and exploring theories for Brimstone.
That being said, this episode will include spoilers for the entire Quicksilver book, all Kingfisher POV bonus chapters, and everything Kelly Hart has publicly stated up to this point. Everything is on the table today, folks. Everything. This is your final spoiler warning. If you have not yet finished the book or bonus chapters, go do that. Come back.
If you have enjoyed this season of the podcast as much as we have, we'd love for you to join us on Patreon. For just $5 a month, you can join our Book Besties tier to hang out in our cozy Discord, hop into monthly book chats, and join a community of fellow readers. Or upgrade to our $10 Found Family tier for exclusive perks like merch discounts, early access to episodes, and behind-the-scenes chaos!
And this is one of the last times we'll get to talk about Enchanticon 2025 before it actually happens. We are headed to St. Louis August 15th to 17th as event influencers, hosting our very own meetup, moderating a panel, and presenting our dissertation on the Throne of Glass series. There will be a ton of other amazing guests and panels, a game night, and a Shrek-themed ball. Come see us in person, dance the night away, and use code FRIENDS15 at enchanticon.com to get 15% off your tickets.
Lastly, if you're a friend of this pod, we would love for you to let the people know. Please consider taking a few minutes to leave a star rating and a quick review on Audible or Apple Podcasts. This is the best way to help our show reach more book besties, and it's free. Plus, you will get a little shout out from us that will live on the internet forever, like this one. Here's a recent 5-star review on Audible from our new bestie, Anonymous User, titled Midweek Magic. Between Pages and Friends is pure serotonin for any book lover. The name truly says it all. Every episode feels like catching up with your favorite book club, full of laughs, wild theories, and the best kind of chaos. I've been following since the very first ACOTAR reaction videos on TikTok and haven't looked back since. You've got a fan for life. This podcast isn't just content, it's a weekly ritual. I'm so grateful I stumbled upon this gem from one book lover to 4 others. Thank you for the magic.
Aww.
That's so
Thank
precious.
you for this review,
Wow.
anonymous user.
Anonymous?
User.
What an honor. I see them all over the internet.
I feel like whenever because we've had like a couple of these, like anonymous users, people are probably like, it's just probably one of them that wrote this. And they're just reading it for the podcast.
They caught us.
It would be much longer and more in-depth if it was.
I'm getting a FaceTime. Hello? Some what?
Some stuff for BBS.
Oh, you're getting...
Go get today.
How was it? Did you have fun?
And I made craft.
And then what'd you do?
And then I did the memory verse.
The memory verse. Very good.
Mm-hmm. You're a brat.
I'm a brat. Hey.
Bye, Dad.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
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 Goofball. All right. General questions.
General questions?
Thanks. Typically, this is the part where we do the pronunciation guide and the recap, but since we don't have either of those this week, let's get into it. Dive right in, as some might say, as we say all the time. We're kicking it off with a few of your submitted questions about our overall thoughts and rankings. The first one we'll be addressing is, to me and Kyle, the question: how does Quicksilver compare to Fourth Wing, in your opinion, specifically romance and plot? I will begin this one. So, my thoughts here. So the dragons and that whole like relationship aspect in Fourth Wing makes it somewhat unique, obviously, but we do kind of get something similar like with the Quicksilver. Might not be a quote unquote bond, but it does create like another kind of cool, unique relationship in another book series. So love that. Plus there may be some more that Saras develops in relationship with, especially becoming like the queen, may not work with the Quicksilver. We're talking about that a little bit later. I'm really drawn into the romance and the story of Quicksilver way more than Fourth Wing. There is no contest there for sure. The aggressiveness of the spice makes it more intriguing there. I said it, okay? And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of the full story. I mean, obviously we're only in book 1, but still, I feel like there's so much more. We got a lot of history and stuff to just kind of like lead up to why things happened the way they did here for this book. So I feel like we'll get a lot more of like, I guess, present world building and that kind of thing, like present plot with some of the other stuff, but higher than Fourth Wing for sure.
Well. I think the biggest difference between Fourth Wing and Quicksilver for me was the FMC's like foundation of knowledge, because Violet literally recites lore and facts to sleep to, but with Saras, through really no fault of her own, I guess, because she's literally in a different world, is just not knowledgeable about her surroundings to the point where she can be like, yeah, this is because of this, and this is because of this, and this is the history here. Not as much. Coming from Violet to Saras was like a bit jarring in that sense. Almost like moving from Jack Skellington in Halloween Town to Jack Skellington in Christmas Town. And I'm so sorry for that comparison. But I thought of it and I couldn't get it out of my head. But he goes from being the master of everything to being like, literally, what is this? But
In a place full of snow.
yeah, in a place full of snow. Maybe that's where it came from. But I honestly also sort of skipped over, I guess, this parenthetical about specifically romance and plot. I think we have some very strong similarities in terms of romance, you know, bad boy vibes. I am interested to see if maybe that turns around in some way, if he's going to sort of soften up now that he's being more honest with her. I will say, however, I would be down for a book where the bad boy's just a bad boy. And there is no like, oh, he's softer with me. It's just like, no, he's just that way, but I like it.
We'll be on the
I
hunt
love
for
that for
that.
you.
If anyone has book recs, drop them in the comments. Our next question is, what is your favorite quote or scene from this book?
I had a really hard time with this question. I always have a hard time picking favorites, but I really loved the whole scene with Laurith's Ballad of the Ajin Gate. The Quicksilver keeping the song was so cool and mind-blowing to read. And I feel like it just opened up the possibilities and questions for the Quicksilver like way more for me. And then getting to read the actual events at Ajin Gate in the bonus chapters made that whole ballad and the scene like even more epic.
For me, it may be a tie between when Fisher like rejoins Rin and Saras at the banks of the Darn. It's after like she does some work on the feeders and he like comes back to join them, and he does some work on the feeders there for a minute, and she describes his just like battle and like prowess, I guess you could say. So it's between that and I saw that. And her trickery with the coin as she sneakily relocates to cut off Malcolm's head. That was also very sweet.
Love
it's
a
like,
good decap.
exactly. Thank you, Lauren. Took the words right out of my mouth. But yeah, like how that was written when he like looks down at the pouch or whatever and looks up to where it says she should have been. And she was like right next to him, and then just, that was pretty sweet. So
Nice.
it's a tie between those two, I think.
I think, honestly, the scene where Kingfisher originally makes his deal with the coin was good, where they trick him and they catch it midair and it doesn't, whatever, you know. It's an evil scene, but it's a good scene.
An evil Fae scene. I still laugh like all the time about Kerrion, how he responds to Laurith at like all times, specifically with like the dagger, with that little like bet that they did, and then the whittling where he's like, he's probably been whittling his whole life or whatever, and then when he does sing the song and he's like, of course this guy can freaking sing. Like, it just makes me laugh. Just those specific moments with Kerrion and Laurith and just that whole
they're the
relationship.
best.
It's just really funny. So.
Were there any moments that made you gasp?
Good job, everybody. That was unplanned.
I had a very genuine and audible gasp when Kerrion revealed himself.
Which time?
When did he reveal himself? Wait a minute.
Womp, 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 womp.
He just stares off to the side. I missed that scene.
Okay, but actually, I did too. Finding out Kerrion's real name made me lose my mind. That was one of the biggest reactions I've ever had to a book.
Yeah, that was a great epic moment. For me, it was in one of the POV chapters when Kingfisher sees Saras talking to the gods at the same time he is also talking to the gods, and it's like different timelines or whatever. Because that, first of all, is freaking sweet, and like his whole like I need to be there, like the smell or her tie, like that whole scene for Kingfisher was cool. But it also then opens up like the different timelines being overlapping each other, like the actual not like. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all my theories. Do you know that? That makes sense, right? Exactly. But no, I had the theory of, maybe even Saras is the one who made Nimmerel, the sword that has been sitting there waiting for him. Like, all the, like, overlappings of however many things could happen with just all the theories. So, that was the moment for me.
Kyle, you didn't gasp at all.
I was thinking as you were
I
talking,
called everything.
but honestly, I think though it wasn't anything important at all. But as soon as he started calling her OSHA, I was like immediately texting John to be like, "We need to get some hard hats stat."
Stat.
That's true.
That's what made
I was
you
like, I
gasp.
have a great bit.
idea.
And we all appreciate you for that.
Yes, we do.
Well, let's move on to some character questions. We had some questions about specific characters, so we'll run through our full cast of characters and talk through thoughts, development, and where we think they're headed in the story. Starting with, who is your favorite character and why?
I love Renfis. I just love him.
What?
In case you didn't know. I think I would have liked him anyway because he's just like super, that great loyal side character, specifically to Kingfisher and really, I guess, all the Lupoprilia. But his kindness to Saras that he has and just like kind of being that safe space for her in all of the craziness that was going on. He just played like a really vital role for Saras in this book. But also his really sexy accent. And as soon as he said any words, I just, favorite.
Melted in your hoodie.
I did hardcore. My hair and kicking my feet.
The hair, yeah. I think Fisher has turned into my favorite. I really hope that she writes in more literal swordplay. I mean, I'm sure we'll get plenty of the other kind. Because he seems to be an absolute monster when it comes to fighting, even without like his magic. Would you stop with the eyebrows every time?
Sorry. You made the joke first.
I'm talking to my wife. But if you're doing it too. No, I'm just kidding.
We're doing it to each other, I think. At least I am.
But he just, even without his magic and his powers, he obviously knows how to sword fight very well, and I want more of like that type of battle scenes. I'm just gonna not say any of my comments.
I'm watching Con fight back. Yeah, he did. Like as soon as you said he's really good. Oh man,
Connor.
I didn't do it. I'm sorry. I just laughed.
Get out all the dick jokes now. Come on.
Get out your dicks, everybody. Get them all out.
Get out all the dicks. All right.
Is it fair to say my favorite character is the Quicksilver? I feel like that would be the character that I came back to questioning and like paying attention to everything they said and how they said it. And I'm sure there's much to come from them. I think it'd be cool if they developed more as an actual like character. They're sort of just a thing right now, but
I don't know. I feel like if it was like an actual, like we find out it is the gods or it was this person the whole time, I don't know that I would have liked it as much as it just being this mysterious voice in the world, kind of, I don't know, pushing and guiding people different ways
just
or whatever.
in the sense of her saying, like, even in this book where she was like, if you can make deals with it, it has to want something. So, like, I just want to know what its greater desire is. Because obviously there's little pieces of it that get put into things. But
Yeah. My favorite character, I'm sure you'll all be shocked to hear, is Kerrion freaking Dianthus. I am always a sucker for great banter. And while every character in this book had great banter because Kelly's writing is amazing, Kerrion definitely made me laugh the most. I was really obsessed with him from chapter 2, like very beginning of the book. And now he's also Fae royalty. I'm sold. I love him. But also Onyx because he's the sweetest little baby. And he has so much personality. And I wish I could snuggle him in real life.
You only get to pick one, Con.
That's too bad. I picked 2. Fight me.
Mary F. Kill, Kerrion, Onyx, Kingfisher.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's good. Do it now.
So mean.
Answer.
No.
Yes, absolutely. Right now.
I hope I know which one Onyx is not getting.
That's so mean.
We want the answer.
Yeah.
We're not moving on until we get it.
Well, there's only one option.
I feel like, there's one option for one of them.
That's so mean.
I don't know. You can
Okay, I would marry Onyx.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. That's
Fuck
right.
Kerrion, kill Kingfisher. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Wow.
You just
Wow.
pick
Can
you
one
blame
of the
me, though?
many for Kerrion. He's not even going to remember you.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
All right.
All right. Which character surprised you the most? Could be in a good, bad way. What are your thoughts?
I said Talladeas. We didn't really get much from him, but I think the expectations for who he was were pretty instantly broken in the book. But I'd be interested to see where that goes, especially if he becomes like a sort of double agent, which I feel like after the bonus, chapters is even more likely to happen.
Yeah, I also agree that I think the person that surprised me the most was Talladeas. I was so skeptical of him in the main book, especially with his blonde hair, even though he was a hot vampire. But after the maze bonus chapter, that we get like a lot more of him and his relationship with Kingfisher. I don't know. I just really like him now, and I hope he sticks around, and I hope he stays on Team Good Guys, and he's not gonna like double cross anybody or something. So
Yeah.
he's a good one,
He's a goodie.
even though he's.
I think. Says the blonde person.
That's fine.
I think I had the biggest opinion shift with Laurith because I really did not care about him at first, like at all. And now he's one of my favorite characters. He was introduced later in the book, and I already really liked everyone else. And he was introduced at the same time as freaking Danby, who was the worst. But he really turned it around for me, and I'm a really big fan now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I said Laurith as well. Like, she wrote such a great backstory for him, and I think we'll get to see him in action a lot more in book 2, especially like with him getting the God Sword. I feel like that makes him like a bigger player. So I'm pumped about that. Plus, we've kind of talked about or hinted to, hopefully, if he like gets it on with Ishabal or something.
He totally will.
But that would be a fun little side romance kind of thing. So to follow through or follow along with. But yeah.
Okay, who do you trust the least right now?
I do not trust Danya because I feel like she's like gonna have a chip on her shoulder, especially now that Fisher will be in cahoots with like the Queen of the Vampires. I feel like she's gonna feel some sort of way about that, especially it being Saras. And they've just been like, especially with them, like they've been fighting the feeders for like centuries. And obviously we don't know what that's going to look like now, like what's going on with the war. I mentioned something about that later, but like, I feel like Dany is just going to come in and be like, what, now we're just like friends with feeders now? Like, what are we supposed to do? And she's going to, I don't know. I think she might do something rash. Yeah, talk about it later, but we'll get into it a little bit more.
Yeah, she
That's
doesn't
fair.
seem like quick to change. She's really stuck in her ways.
Right.
And this
Yeah,
is
for sure.
obviously a major change. So.
Yep.
I just said any of the 3 baddies. I feel like the goodies got away too easy, and I don't trust that they are nearly as done as one would think.
You're talking Malcolm, Belicon, Mandra.
Yeah, the 3 baddies. It was pretty clear.
I didn't know if you meant like Saras and Ishabal and Helena. Baddies. I definitely do not trust Everlane. I don't think I've trusted her this whole entire book. From the moment that she said, like, one of her first lines, where it was like, you're here and somebody right in front of you could be actually the person stabbing you in the back, or whatever that line is. I just immediately put my, like, red flag on her. I've just been watching.
Raised your hackles.
It raised my hackle. My ears went up. The whole bit. Everything. And now she's back with everybody, and we know that she's, like, healing. But I don't know. I feel like we're gonna meet her, and it's gonna be all like happy-go-lucky, yay, she's here, and she's gonna, like, play this part where we trust her and we think she's, like, part of the group, and then secretly she's betraying them, or there's gonna be some big reveal later that it was her the whole time, you know? I also feel like that could happen with Talladeas, that same exact type of thing where he's, like, part of the group and we think he's all fine, but really they're, you know, working behind the scenes for the other guys or something. But I don't know, until I see the moment that she is good. I don't know. I don't know that I can trust it.
What if her saying that was part of her backstory that we haven't heard yet? And she was saying that more because someone betrayed her deeply and now she doesn't trust anyone.
Yeah, no, I could totally see that. And when I read it, I will be like, okay, cool. She's team good guys. Like, I don't hate her.
But until then.
I know. It's like, I don't have bad feelings towards her other than just like, I just don't feel like I can put my trust in her.
Yeah.
I'm just like holding back my love for Everlane because I feel like she could be just like the best friend that Saras has needed, you know, like, because it's not going to be Danby. Maybe it could be like Ishabal. Taylena kind of has been helpful to her, but Saras felt awkward tension with Taylena because she thought Kingfisher and Taylena were together. So we haven't found that person that she can like 100% put her trust into as like a gal pal type of situation. And so I want that to be Everlane. I would love that. I'm just nervous about it until I'm proven wrong.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. I didn't really write an answer to this question, but right now I feel like I'm most skeptical of like Zareth and Balin Mithin. I feel like I'm very skeptical of the gods and whether or not Zareth's whole thing about how the gods can't interfere with Saras anymore. I don't know.
Like, can they?
And also, is that gonna work against her, or like, where even are they? What the heck are they doing? I don't know. So that's where I'm at with that. But okay, let's get into our specific characters, starting with Saras. And this is, again, just like overall thoughts, where you think they're going in the series. So I really love Saras, and I hope that she does become an absolute bad bitch of a vampire queen. I was a little nervous about that at the end of Quicksilver because it's like, in 2 days' time, you're going to be coronated. But I'm always nervous when they make plans like that in a fantasy novel, because that makes me feel like it might not happen, but hopefully it happens. One thing I would love to ask Callie about, if we get to ask Callie any questions, is how much of Saras's power we've seen at this point, because I'm really curious to know if becoming half fae and half vampire has changed or enhanced her alchemist abilities, or like given her any fun new powers that they can teach her how to like access or wield now.
Yeah, I'm very excited to learn more about her abilities and like her new powers and how she can manipulate the other elements possibly that Malcolm mentioned. Like, obviously this next book is called Brimstone. So if it is an element type thing, is it going to be similar to the Quicksilver where she can kind of manipulate it in the same way, or is it going to be different? I'm very curious about that, because some of the elements that he mentioned were like fire and ice. I don't know if he said water. I don't remember them off the top of my head. Air and water. So it's like I wouldn't think that those would be able to have the whole like communication thing as being just like normal elements. Maybe they will. I don't know, but it would seem weird if like she is able to like talk to fire. I don't know. There's just like, that would be a big disconnect, I feel like, for me.
Maybe it'll be like Frozen 2, and there'll be like a little creature on fire.
Oh, I see. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
The little wind that carries messages to each other.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the talking is specific to the Quicksilver, right? But she can identify other like metals and stuff.
I guess. But she knows it right now.
It's like, I would think it would track with her ability with the Quicksilver to be able to use it to, I guess, not necessarily create like weapons or anything, maybe just to be able to manipulate it in general. But I don't know. I feel like that would just be kind of boring. Like, oh, I can like, make a fire, or I can like douse this torch or something. Like give me something a little more interesting.
But
we'll
what
see.
if she could manipulate Brimstone and like kill a
that's what I'm
dragon
saying.
from the inside or something?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be different.
Dragon.
Yeah.
But
Dragons?
We'll see.
Sort of going along with those two, I'm just hoping she isn't absolutely overwhelmed by the whole two other aspects of her life that she has now, on top of just coming into like literally a foreign plane of existence. She now has to reconcile a part of her she didn't know she had. All these new, I imagine, much more powerful Fey senses and hearing and smelling and whatever else that brings. And also being a vampire. And I feel like all of that could be very overwhelming for a person. And I'm really hoping that it's either just not, or she gets over it quickly, because I don't want the whole like second book to just be a struggle of there's so much happening inside and outside of me, I don't know what's going on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be.
I hope not. For her sake, like it would make
Yeah.
sense
Yeah.
if it did, because you're right. There's so many things happening to her and so many changes and stuff. But I hope, that she'll be able to handle it, or it will be okay. I mean, I'm just impressed with Saras altogether. Like, she has been a great FMC just in general. I don't know, I just really love her as a character. I am super excited for her to learn more about her power and just move into her like new leadership role, because so far we've just kind of seen her as this like fumbling human around all these epic fae, and we saw a little bit at the end of her like really cool like finding the coin and with Malcolm and all those things, and I just want to see a lot more of that as she just becomes this like total all around badass of a character in leadership and leading a horde of vampires and the whole bit. Like, it just sounds super cool. So
Yes.
love her. So this is a question we got. Do you still think that Saras will be able to perform her alchemist abilities?
Yeah, this was an interesting question because I hadn't really considered the possibility of her losing the alchemist powers. Like, can Fae also be alchemists? Do we know anything about that?
I think so.
I guess it would track that like no alchemist has ever been Fae before. So even if
Well, they've
that
talked
isn't
about
historically
there
the case, I can see
being-
that.
Yeah, I feel like yes. I feel like usually they are Fae, right?
Well, because there was humans around forever ago, but there was
Yeah.
also been so long without alchemists. So do those timelines match up?
Right.
Or when the humans left,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
when the alchemists left?
That would be
I feel like they
super
would've said
interesting
that.
if they would only be humans. Mm-hmm. But then if that were the case, I mean, yeah, she would like lose her if she's half. Well, I guess she's still kind of part. Wait, no, she lost her human.
She's not human at all.
No
right,
longer
no
human.
no longer human. Yeah, so
No
well, there-
human.
no human, just
No
dog.
Human. Just dog.
Yeah, I was surprised by this question. And is this like actual theory? Like a big theory on the internet?
I've never seen this one before, but it could be. I don't know.
I just said
would
yes.
assume Yeah.
I was thinking that she'll come to learn like how Malcolm was working with alchemists and what they were doing for him to help the vampires, because he obviously, when he mentioned that he had been working with alchemists before, but obviously he didn't go into any further detail, because I'm assuming that they'll still want to make relics for the army, because the whole point of that was to travel through the Quicksilver. So like,
Yeah.
I would think that would still be a goal in some way.
I wonder now that she has access to Malcolm's castle, but also like all of his lands, that she's going to find all these old history books of alchemists or
Yeah.
all this old stuff that
Ooh,
he's
yeah.
had.
And like information.
Yeah,
basically.
when he worked with them.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I almost wouldn't be surprised if he still has an alchemist and he's just like
Oh,
hidden
that
them
would
or
be
something.
interesting.
Oh.
So he got him down in a dungeon
Like
or
turned
something.
him, turned him into a vampire or something. And,
Ooh, I like
know.
that idea.
and then she'll have like
Okay.
someone to study under.
Yeah. Cool.
Maybe.
I'll never help you.
Is that how they sound?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
old,
that's
little
one
old
of the,
dude.
that's one of the vampire alchemists.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
I was
You're
gonna
welcome.
say with her like vampire situation, I would assume that she won't be able to go back to Zilvarin now though, because of the two sons, which we had talked about a little bit with Banter and Bookmarks podcast. Shout out to them. Shout out. but that there's no nighttime in Sylvarin, so she wouldn't be able to go under the cover of darkness at all. And if she is the type of vampire that can't go out in sunlight, I would imagine she can't go back. So,
But
She had already like gotten used to it at the end of the book, hadn't she?
didn't,
I know
Yeah, did
A
he say
little
that?
bit.
she like
She would
opened the
adjust?
curtain, yeah, and it like hurt her eyes. And Talladeas was like, "Oh, you'll get used to that," or something, like
Yeah.
very flippantly. And I couldn't tell at first if it was like, she was in a coma for so long and your eyes just have to adjust to the normal sunlight. But since it came from Talladeas, it seemed like it was a vampire-y thing. But
Right.
our conversation with the Banter and Bookmarks ladies was that, in Evalia, they have one sun and it's only there for so long. But in Sylvarin, there's two suns and it's extra bright and it's extra hot and it's extra,
Yeah.
like, it's like an enhanced that. So the theory was maybe they can't go to Sylvarin because there's extra sun.
Yeah.
Why is that funny, Kyle?
I don't know. It's just reminding me of a SpongeBob thing, so we can move on.
Classic.
Classic Bob.
This isn't just normal darkness. It's enhanced darkness.
Okay. Anyways,
All right.
another question we got was, do you think Saras is still sterile, or has this change to her becoming like half fae, half vampire made her fertile again?
I would think it seems like it would make sense that she'd write this in the plot somehow, since Fisher had such like a strong reaction to her being sterilized, that like, oh man, it's like of all the maybe bad things that she might be experiencing with the change, this would be like one of the good ones that would be like, oh, now they can like, have little fae kids run around.
I agree. I said for her sake, I hope it brings that part of herself back, since it was never even her choice to lose it. For my sake, I hope she waits till the end of the series to have a baby. I don't
Actually, Kyle, what you typed here was Babby.
want to have a baby. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, I don't need to read about her being pregnant during a war. Just wait till after and have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
just
fair.
choose it. No big deal. Everybody can just
Well, they're-
choose when to have a baby.
They're
No
fae. I'm
worries.
sure they have tonics or something.
Yeah,
Well,
the
yeah,
fertility
I would
suppressant.
assume
Yeah.
I would assume that would be at least a conversation in the next book of like, oh, you need to take the tonic again or have the healers
Yeah.
make your whatever.
Would she
What
be
I
able to
hope-
just know automatically?
I guess what I'm hoping most is that it's not just like she's so used to being sterile. Kingfisher was told that she was. It's not
Right.
something they're thinking about, and it just is like an accidental thing. I don't
yeah.
want that more
No.
than anything else.
At least
I
a
feel like
conversation.
Kingfisher would bring it up
Yeah,
again
I
because
will then
he
have a
already.
conversation.
I mean, I do think it makes sense because in the text it says she's no longer human, and Kingfisher went on that whole tangent about how fae even have like more organs than
Yeah.
humans do. So like if her whole body composition is changing to be fae and vampire instead of human, I could see that allowing her to conceive in the future, even if it is rare for the fae. So that could be another piece of it is like maybe she's able to conceive now, but it would be a lot more difficult because she is fae and vampire, not human.
Yeah.
Maybe we get like in a lead thing and she like gets her cycle and she's like, what's happening?
And then
And we're like, oh my gosh.
Kingfisher tears his shirt.
Rips his shirt.
I forgot about the having more organs thing. That's really interesting. I'd
Yeah.
love to
Yeah.
know which ones they have more of, or if they're the same and multiple, or if it's just like brand new ones.
I mean,
That's where the
Kingfisher
magic
only
comes from.
alluded to certain
Extra
ones
Yeah.
being bigger and better. And I
Sure,
assume she didn't
yes.
get that one. But
Bonjour Lapine.
get your dicks out.
She's just like, that's your quick question. Speaking of Kingfisher, let's give our opinions on the old boy.
I love him. Top tier book boyfriend. I love him forever. That's all I
Yeah.
wrote.
Yeah. Big fan, especially after learning more about him and getting his POV in the bonus chapters. I already loved him by the end of Quicksilver, but the bonus chapters really did change everything. And if he's about to be the vampire king to Saras's vampire queen, I might just lose my mind in the best way. But I do think they'll be separated a lot in Brimstone, and I'm not happy about that. So
You did kind of call in like an earlier episode that Kingfisher would become Vampire King. You said he would kill Malcolm and become Vampire King.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he still kind of became potential vampire king if they like get married and
And
do
we don't really know if anybody killed Malcolm.
I don't think that's
Well-
how that's going to work, honestly. But
So what if Malcolm's not dead and they realize that he's still alive before she's coronated? Does she just not
interesting.
become
Yeah.
a vampire queen? And then he'd be like, just kidding, I'm back.
I would just feel like Talladeas or any of the other people who are enthralled would know initially.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
I think he's still out there somehow, but in like a Horcrux type way.
Same.
Okay.
You know, whether it's with Belicon or Madra because they're like shared their soul, or it's with this like you have to kill the source or whatever it was to get us all.
Yeah.
And that whatever potential item is that they are using to keep them all alive.
Yes.
But as far as like being actual his physical body in person, I do think that body is gone somehow.
Okay.
Or Talladeas
Yeah,
or
I
others would be still enthralled to him. Or they're just hiding out and they do know and they are enthralled and they just can't say anything for some reason. That could be
Yes,
a
it's
Maybe
true.
they
situation.
will end up crowning her queen, and then Malcolm will show up and be like, "Oops, wasn't dead. Guess you're my queen, bish." And then he'll take her from Kingfisher, and the Kingfisher will be like, "No, that's
Ew.
definitely how it works in the Fey realm for some reason." And he has to go and get her back.
No!
No, please.
No.
Oh, dang it.
God dang it.
Forgot about that.
I worked so hard to neg her into a relationship.
Okay.
All right. I'm also a big fan of Fisher, especially after we get some more backstory later in the book, as well as the bonus chapters, as has been mentioned. We really see more of his intentions with this. He kind of low-key took a bit of a similar arc in book one as another beloved shadow daddy, but that's all I can really say about that.
Gotta love those shadow daddies.
Yeah.
They're a dime a dozen these days, but I will take every single one.
Gonna say. You gotta.
Moving on to Kerrion. I just wrote, what a guy. Will he be fighting to get back his crown or maintain a playboy stature and just kind of go with the flow in book two?
I think that he will stay as a playboy and it will lead him to the crown.
Nice.
He's just going to continue being himself and he's going to get to the top. But when I was reading the book, I wasn't like super fangirling over Kerrion just because I knew Con had it covered and
Thank you.
any note that I could have written, she had already written plus 100 other things about it. So I just kind of like stayed off the Kerrion train. But the more that I think about the book and I like continue to look back and we're answering our favorite parts and doing all these things, it's always back to Kerrion. And he's just amazing. And I do love him. And I just need it to be said on podcast since I haven't like super fangirled about him. I'm still there and I love him a lot. And he's great. And I'm
This
super
makes me
excited
so happy.
about his future and just being like potential king, and then like if she is gonna stay as queen like Saras, and then them like being friends and working together to save the world and all that kind of stuff. I think it'll be great.
Yes, Lauren. I'm so happy about this. I'm not sure that I really even need to add anything at this point. Obviously, I am obsessed with him. I do hope that he becomes King of the Fae, and I hope we get lots more on-page time with Fae Kerrion. I do think he'll continue to be incredibly important and hilarious, and if he ever dies, I will riot.
Same. So we'll half the internet.
Yep.
Hopefully not.
At least. As they should.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute for a second.
Okay, John. Just kidding. Sorry.
Why on earth do you think Kerrion's glamour went away when Finran is the one that put it up? Does that mean that Finran has to be alive to keep the glamour? Did Kerrion take it over at some point? What you thinking?
I have a suspicion that the glamour continued to stay in place until Kerrion revealed his true self. And maybe it was so specific that he literally had to say his real name out loud for it to like start to diminish or kind of like fade or start to fade or whatever. Kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I could see it being almost like a blood oath or bargain of some kind like that, where there were some really specific parameters to it or like stipulations to it. But I do also like the idea that it was like Finran's glamour and that means that he's still alive. But I don't think if Finran was tasked with going to save Kerrion and hide him, I don't think he would have tied the glamour to his own lifespan because if he would have died at any point, then Kerrion would have been screwed. So
Well,
fair.
and I think he would have tried to stay with Kerrion, like to make sure that it stays up or, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as far as we know, he's not in Nevalia. So maybe not. I kind of thought it was when Malcolm bit him, or like if he ever had like that kind of a scenario. But yeah, it would have to be like some moment that triggered
trigger.
yeah, the glamour or whatever to go away. But I don't think in any of that Kerrion was in charge of it. Like I don't think he could have just turned it on and off. Like I still think it had to do with some other action.
I mean, he can turn it on whenever he wants, but
You want him to look regular back to a human? Or do you mean you want it to be off and he looks like the Fae?
no, we can just move on.
Okay.
Speaking of Kerrion, his name means rot and decay. What do you think this means for his character?
I had written that if his name does mean something, in the sense of it being a clue of things to come, which really I don't think any have truly done that in the book yet, but if it does, I think we may have already gotten a taste of it, literally, because Kerrion specifically refers to dead or putrefying flesh, thus the relation to like carrion birds that eat roadkill and such, and I think it was even put on old meat way back in the day when they threw it out. Anyway, the word itself relates to flesh that is unfit for consumption, and Kerrion was unfit for consumption to Malcolm. So there you go. Although, looking at like the original etymology, while not changing very much, does slightly shift the meaning to just a dead body, which one might wonder if that means Kerrion is already undead, or if he is still yet to live or die up to his name.
Oh.
Sorry, Connor. If his name means
Better
dead
not
body.
die.
Okay, the undead thing is interesting, but he's not gonna die. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But yeah, like we've had a lot of theories on people's names meaning things in this book, but none have been explicitly revealed to be like, oh yeah, that's why they were named this.
Yeah.
Especially if that is his given name.
Yeah, I thought that if he were completely hiding his identity, he would at least also change his first name, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like he did.
Yeah.
Especially if names are so important to the Fae. I mean, maybe Kerrion isn't his real name, but when he was like, it's actually me, Kerrion.
Oh, that carries.
I've been
Dang
right
it.
the whole time.
Next up is Remphis. We have one note here. Lauren?
Hot.
Moving on. Everlane?
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Nice work.
Perfect.
Any other thoughts on Remphis?
No.
I think that covers it.
No, okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay.
think Lauren's
I
the
said
only
a lot
one
about
on
him earlier. He's just
Yeah.
great. And
Yeah.
amazing.
True.
Epic
And
best
hot.
friend. And super hot.
We had a couple of questions about Everlane. The first being, is Everlane secretly a baddie?
Like on the bad guy squad or like a baddie? You know what I mean?
Hey, she's a baddie, but it ain't no secret. You know what I'm saying?
Ayo.
I think she's a total baddie. We've already talked about this. I think she's going to play them all by acting innocent and weak or being on their side, but she's secretly working for the others.
I'm still not convinced of this, but I think it's interesting. I don't know.
Kyle.
I don't know if I had a thought, but
No,
I
the
lost
next-
it, so I'm just going to move on.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I know. I had a think. I had a thought. I had a think in my head.
I think
I had one of those things, a headache with pictures. Do we think Everlane's a vampire now?
I don't know, probably. What I wrote.
All right, moving on.
I just
okay.
They said they,
Insightful stuff.
they said they like took the vampirism out of her, but they've never been able to do that before, like whatever. So it just feels too good to be true, maybe, if it's not really happened and all of a sudden it did. And yeah, I don't know. I think
But they had a witch.
yeah, but I guess if this has been happening for thousands of years, no one's ever tried that before for anybody else, or I don't know. I don't know. And I think that would go into part of her tricking everybody, and then being like, "I was a vampire the whole time." She bites him.
You bit.
You bit.
Ow.
John.
Exactly.
I mean, for them to go that long, though, without trying it with their lifespan is sort of just being like, they're 18
Lazy.
years old and haven't tried it. Because if their lifespan truly is that long and they experience time the same way we do, there's no way they're almost 2,000 years old but have not progressed their society at all. Like, it's been 2,000 years and things are the same way. I don't know.
I don't know. She can't be the first person that somebody's cared about, and that's
what I'm
important or
saying.
whatever. And that, yeah, they would have tried it, I would think, on somebody. But whatever.
But you know what? About Laurith,
Smooth transition.
Yes.
That was
What
good.
a
on.
segue. That's not a segue. This is a segue.
Are you not going to finish your About Laurith?
no, that was
Sentence?
it. Tell me about
Oh.
him.
Oh, okay. I love Laurith. I think he has to stick around because he's the bard, and traditionally the bards are the ones who are writing the stories, and the songs become the histories, and it gets passed around. And so without him, no one's going to know what's going on. So he can't leave. He has to
Yeah.
stay around, so everybody knows.
He's like the town troubadour.
Yeah, he really is.
I
Gilmore
love
Girls.
this.
Good job.
I got it. Yes.
I was actually thinking about like Dungeons and Dragons with the bards because I
It's like
played one
the
for,
Captain
6
America.
years, but
I
yes.
get that reference.
Sorry.
So proud. Okay, so Laurith. I love this big softie. I cannot wait for him to fall in love with Ishabal. And if he ever dies, I will riot.
You're gonna riot a
Two
lot.
riots. Yeah.
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 Right. Two whole
Well,
riots.
hopefully I won't have to riot at all.
Or
might
at
have
the
a
same
busy
time
year.
for two different things.
No.
I just wrote, love this guy. Hope we see big things from him, especially now that he has a god sword. As I mentioned before, I think we'll see a lot more.
I hope we see big things from him now that he has Ishabal.
There we go.
Hey.
Maybe Ishabal will see big things from it.
Yeah, Ishabal will see a god sword. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
All right.
Okay, moving on to Danya, aka Danby. I'll get us started. Boo! Who's next?
I literally started typing my note and I was about to be like, oh, well, nowhere to go but up. But then as I was typing it, I thought of like several downward scenarios that she could go on. So I was like, oh, I rescind that comment. Because I was like, well, maybe, nowhere to go but up. She's going to be like, better herself. But then I thought, she could just turn evil and go to the other side and
could.
start doing all that stuff. So I was like, well, who knows, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's kind of where I think it'll end up, but I wrote more specifically. I think she'll continue to like cause problems, possibly even betray the Lupoprolia eventually. I just see her, like I mentioned, I just see her holding a grudge against like Laurith for accepting the sword and like maybe not blaming him directly, but she's just pissed that he ended up with what used to be her sword. Saras for just like coming into their lives and just like messing up how everything works, basically, how everything should be, and just pissed at Fisher for obvious reasons. I see some major issues down the road with her.
I'm gonna take the complete opposite of all of your opinions, and I kind of think she's gonna have like this big comeback and be like a hero / friend to everyone. She's been with the Lupoprolia for hundreds and hundreds of years and has been
Yeah.
faithful and has literally like fought dragons and done all the things.
And she sucked the whole time.
She might have like a bad attitude, but she's still been there. Like, I don't know. And so part of me kind of thinks like it's set up that Danya and Everlane are having opposite stories, like where we like think we love Everlane, but she's going to be the one that tricks us, and we think we hate Danya, but she's going to be the one that's faithful to us the whole time. And I obviously could be wrong about both of these things, but that's kind of, I don't know. She has
What
to
if
have
we
some
get,
sort
like,
of
a-
character arc. She can't just be a bitch the whole
Well, yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
has to be some sort of hopeful growth, and she'll come around or something. Like,
Or she just kills her off.
I mean,
Yeah.
that could happen, and then we don't have to
But
worry
what would
about
be
it. But
what would be crazy if we get almost like an Imogen scenario where
I
like
was just thinking.
we were like they kind of not hate each other, but it like Saras
Don't
eventually
trust.
like
Yeah.
wins her over kind of thing. Like she's like this hardened like warrior, like kind of hardcore, kind of intense. But then Saras is just like kind of gives it back to her, like, I'm tired of your shit. Like, I'm just gonna dish it right back out. And she's like, I respect that. Let's be best friends. And then that's how it ends up.
Well, and with that same scenario, like Xaden went away and Imogen kind of became like her main training partner or whatever.
yeah,
And
that's
if that happens in
true.
the next one, if Kingfisher ends up going off somewhere, maybe Danya ends up helping her out in some of those ways. I'm just saying,
possibility.
I think it's going to end up being Danya. As much as we
bumming Connor out.
have trashed on her.
It's bumming
just
me
gonna-
out. I don't want it to be her. I don't like her.
Sarah's, right hand lady or left hand, I,
mean,
guess,
maybe.
depending on.
That would be cool.
But hey, we
She
didn't
was
like,
lucky.
at least I didn't like Lysandra at the beginning. I thought she was the worst, and it took me forever to like warm up to her just because she's comes. Like, at the, I'm just saying, at the beginning, from
Yeah,
the
I
POV that we
know.
are
You're
reading,
not supposed to.
you're not supposed to like her, and then eventually you do. And it,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
that could be what we have with Danya.
I guess.
Sorry, I didn't write the book. I don't even know. I haven't even read the book, so I don't know.
Yeah, but this is a compelling argument. I feel like you're right. I don't like it.
Sorry.
Let's take a little trip over to Ishabal then, and tell me your opinions on this one. This lady.
This one.
Your segues today are top tier.
Thank
Really
you.
amazing.
Smooth.
10 out of 10. No notes. For
2 out of
Ishabal-
10, but still no notes. Keep it up.
Equally helpful, thank you.
Okay, on Ishabal, I am very intrigued by her character, and I'm really excited to see what she can do. And like, I want to learn more about the witches in general. I think we will go to their territory in Brimstone or at some point in the book, but I'm excited to like meet more of them and get more of the kind of history and what their capabilities are like.
Ditto. You basically stole my note. I'm so excited to learn more about her and the witches. I think we'll get more of their story in book 2. Hopefully an added romance as well. Wink, wink.
See, that was
Oh
new.
yeah,
That is new.
she's totally gonna fall in love with Laurith.
Probably.
Maybe she's like
Kerrion.
got some hot witch guy back home
Well, she might.
that we don't really know
A
much
wizard?
about her. Yeah, a wizard.
A witch
the
guy.
wizard and I, and she's like singing it throughout the castle. I just want to know more about like the witches in general, not just Ishabal. I would love to know more about her, but just I don't know how it works, how they've stayed out of the drama with the vampires and
Because
the
they
war
are the drama, honey.
and all of the things. And why do they hate Bellicon so much? I mean, it's valid, but it seems like of all the people, they hate him the most
Oh,
for
yeah,
some
that's
reason.
right.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot about them in general. Like, how does their magic work? Because magic in the world, we don't really know anything, and it all seems different depending on who you are. So I just need to know all things witches.
Okay, so to add to that, any theories about like why they don't like Bellicon very much?
Maybe it's because Fisher's mom was a witch and
Could be.
Bellicon
Yeah, I like that.
killed her.
She's a witch.
Maybe.
I like
I could
that.
see because he's like hoarding all the silver or the Quicksilver and stuff, or he's like has all these what goods and stuff can actually be
Yeah.
passed and whatever, and maybe it's like totally screwing him over.
Yeah. What made me think of asking that question was when you were talking about it, I was thinking maybe because they said they were really, her clan specifically was instrumental in finding the cure. And I'm wondering if Bellicon like didn't steal it from them, but almost like maybe like stole the credit, or maybe he did like steal something from them or something.
Fey deal.
Yeah. Or like
point.
tricked them in some way, and they
did 'em
got
dirty.
hosed, and yeah, he did them dirty. So now they're all pissed off about it. Ew. I do think though that we're going to get a lot more about the witches
I hope
Yeah.
so.
in book 2.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Love me a good witch.
Well, speaking of witches, what do you guys think about Talladeas? It's trying to be like Kyle. How'd I do?
Nice.
Thank
Great.
you.
That was good.
Okay, but for real, what do you guys
yeah.
think about Talladeas?
He's on my good side for now. And I think we can count on him after getting some cues about him and Fisher's relationship in the bonus. Obviously, they built some respect for each other in some way, some kind of mutual respect when he was in the maze. So I'm excited to see how that works with Saras, because it seems like he's going to stick around for her, maybe kind of be her right-hand man for a little bit. So maybe he'll be the one that we end up getting a lot of information from and a lot of resources and stuff on the Atreus side.
Same. And as I said earlier, I could see him trying to play both sides, mostly because he's stuck on the side he pretty clearly doesn't want to be on. So in the sense of him sort of allowing them out, much like he did in the bonus chapters where he was like, well, I wasn't explicitly told not to let you do that. But also in the sense of maybe bringing them a little bit of information, giving what he can, and then playing the other side literally just because he's forced to, like by his, the deal that he has with Malcolm or whoever, that he is forced to go to that side and help them out sometimes.
Okay, I really like Talladeas. I love him so much, and I hope he sticks around, and I hope he stays Team Good Guy. I do know, I think it's in the maze, we learn, Talladeas is leaving the maze because he's going to talk to, did you just say Zovina? And she's, this female that had come between Tal and Kingfisher once upon a time. And in podcast, I had focused on, maybe it's a romance, maybe it's a romantic thing, blah, blah, blah. But we also had talked about that she's starting an insurrection, or she was starting some sort of rebellion, and it was causing Malcolm trouble. So maybe she's still around, or something's going on with her, and there's going to be a whole nother character trying to become queen of the vampires or something on top of whatever maybe Malcolm's doing. And I could see Talladeas potentially working with her, or maybe helping Saras against her. But I do think Zovina is going to maybe show up again, or be on the vampire side, and then maybe be not Saras is jealous of her, because I don't think she would be jealous of Kingfisher going after her or something, but I could see her being jealous of how sure she is in herself as far as being a vampire and knowing that she should be queen and whatever, and Saras is WTF is going on. And so I feel like she's gonna be a character, and then Talladeas is gonna be mixed up in all of that as well. I just hope that he stays with Kingfisher and Saras in all of that.
Yeah.
Madra's up next. Thoughts? And go.
Kick it off with a boo.
Yeah, my responses to the next three of these are just GIFs. So, Madra, I put the one of the Princess Bride with the old witch going, boo, boo. Then, feel free to chime in anytime anyone else. But for Bellicon, I had the SpongeBob, oh, brother, this guy stinks. And for Malcolm from Dodgeball, just get a load of this guy.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Tracks
That's my
pretty
thoughts.
good.
10 out of 10. No notes.
Yeah, I feel like for where we ended the book, there's not really much to say or to theorize about them. We kind of know that they all suck, and they're all going to show up somehow again, even if it's as a minor inconvenience in the middle of a bigger story, or if they're going to end up being some sort of big bad again. But-
Trench coat. Oh.
Oh, yeah, some big trench coat. That's what
Forgot
I
about
meant.
the trench coats.
I think it was in this week's episode that posted, and somebody's YouTube comment was classic double trench coat. I was like, gets us every time.
My favorite trope. I love it.
It was the double trench coat, though. Amazing.
We did get a question specifically regarding Malcolm, and that is Malcolm still alive? To which I would say totally.
Yeah, for sure. And I expanded a little bit. I said, in what capacity, I do not know. Especially if he basically disintegrated. Can they rebind his soul to a new body? Can he rematerialize as himself? Also, where would this happen? And we just talked briefly about if there's a source to their power, if they go back to something and they can recreate, I don't know, his body or something. Don't know how it works, but definitely not dead.
Yeah.
He's only mostly dead.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
nearly dead.
Mostly dead.
I just wrote that my rule, as always, is no body, no death. Not sure if that includes bodies that turn into dust and blow away. There is technically no body. I may need to sit with this for a while.
Hey, it didn't work for Thanos.
Or it did work for Mother Gothel. But if it didn't work in this case, then that raises questions for Mother Gothel.
True. No, I 100% think he's still alive. Like John said, I don't know what capacity that would be, but he's definitely still out there. Even if we just get a ghost Malcolm later or something. He's attached to the triumvirate, whatever that means.
Hey, Den, what about Hayden?
Who?
Yeah, I laughed when I read this, Lauren. This is funny. I said, so right. Would rather not see more of this man-child.
That's who
Who
Sabrina
cares?
Carpenter's song was really about.
Yeah.
But then we have a follow-up. Where do we think Hayden is? Is he still alive? Fighting for Madra? Locked up? Any thoughts?
I trust that Kerrion really did set up Hayden with a job and a place to live. However, I do not trust that Hayden hasn't done something stupid to mess that up since Kerrion left. So I assume he'll be in some kind of trouble when they get back to Zilvarin to get him at some point, just because of the small glimpse of his character that we've gotten so far. I don't really trust Hayden.
Yeah, I totally agree. If Elroy is someone important, then I think Elroy will be keeping Hayden safe.
Yeah.
If Elroy isn't around, like he isn't like Faye or whatever other theories that are out there, then Hayden's going to be in some sort of super annoying trouble with either Madra, it could be the guard, it could be just some local thugs, it could be an elderly woman, it could be some elementary school bullies, just something super big and dramatic that Kingfisher is going to have to help him out of, and it's just going to be really inconvenient. That was really funny.
Nice.
Hi, Minnie.
It could be what was the character's name that Kerrion mentioned, like owed him money back in Zilvarin?
yeah.
His name was like Davy or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I've been wondering how he'll come into the story at some
Well,
point.
and wasn't like Kerrion a leader of some sort of, not like a gang, but some like rougher
Yeah.
type guys? So maybe Hayden's trying to like be in with the group, or he's the new
Yeah.
Kerrion, or something that he's going to think it's so important to stay, or I don't know.
I feel like
Yeah.
if he tried to be the new Kerrion, he would immediately get beaten up and forever be bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no way he can pull that off.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Especially because he's only 12.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gets his hair tousled all the time. My response to this was that from that skit with Fred Armisen where he says, right to jail, straight away.
Yep.
That's
You
what
go
I
right
think.
to jail. I could be. I mean, I don't feel like there's got to be that many places to hide, but
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
yeah. Well, that brings us to Elroy. So the first question is Elroy actually Finran? This is a big theory out there. So what do we got?
So I used to really think that Elroy was Fae, and now I'm more like 50-50 on that. He just seems to be so bitter to be like Fae, and having lived in Zilvarin for so long. I mean, if you look at Kerrion, he made the most of his time and still generally enjoyed life while he was there. Like Elroy knew about Saras's weird power, yet never did anything about it. If he was Fae, especially if he were an alchemist, that seems like a very, very super wasted opportunity. So I'm leaning more toward that he's just kind of like a washed up rebel, and he got old and had nothing more to fight for when Saras's mom died.
Could be. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Elroy's going to be important somehow, but I don't think it's because he's Finran. Like, I don't think they're the same person. I could see maybe he's like an alchemist somehow, but I also could just see that he's going to be Saras's like father figure, and it's going to play some big moment emotionally for Saras. And so he will have a big moment like that. Not necessarily because he's a major player himself. He's just more a connection for her.
Yeah, personally, I don't think that Elroy is actually Finran. I think Elroy is either an alchemist himself or he's Fae. Those have been my two kind of running theories this whole time. But I think Finran is either someone we haven't met yet, or he's disguised as one of the merchants named really early on in the book, like Vorath Shaw. Like it's maybe someone that Saras has seen before or is familiar with, but didn't know, obviously, that he was Fisher's father. I think I talk about this in the next part, so I'll skip down.
All right. Well, our next one is Finran. Do you think he's Elroy?
We just asked that. Kyle.
No, you asked if Elroy was Finran. I want to know if Finran is Elroy.
Oh, got it. No. Finran, though, is totally alive. Like, I I do believe that.
Yes.
Just because there's so many other people in his like generation that are. I don't think he's like too old or something else. Some of the other things that I've seen. I just don't know where he is. How big is like Saras's world? Like we know of Zilvarin, but that's like a city. Like could he just be some other place traveling and whatever her world is called, you know, living his life? Kerrion maybe stuck around that area knowing that's where the Quicksilver was, and that was maybe his chance to get back or something. Like, for all we know, Finran is just living life. Like, he's found a beach somewhere, and he's
retired.
He's retired. Yeah, there could be so many things. So it doesn't mean that he's necessarily in Zilvarin, but I do think he's in that world. But maybe he felt the Quicksilver opening, or had felt Kerrion's magic go from him, or there's some sort of thing that would draw him back to Zilvarin now. So that would explain why he wasn't there the first time, but maybe is going to be there the second time if they come back for Hayden or Elroy or whoever else they might potentially come back for, or just to come back to defeat Madra or something. So
Yeah. I do think he's alive. He'd be up to something for sure. I cannot wait to learn more about his relationship with Kerrion and if they really knew each other beyond him just saving Kerrion as a child. I would also really love to learn more about what he knows, like what Finran knows, and just his relationship to Belicon and any like dirt he's got on the other Fae.
Definitely alive or possibly dead. Either way, we'll learn more. However, I think it would be a very interesting turn of events if we get this information from Madra instead of him just like kind of showing up somewhere and he's just been like, you know, in hiding for centuries or something. I mean, it'd be kind of boring. I don't know.
he could be like off finding all the other half Fae or people with Fae blood and making a little army himself, or maybe
Finding more alchemists.
Maybe he's like the leader of this rebellion that's going on that helped train Saras. Like, I hope that he's doing something and he's not just sitting drinking Mai Tais at the beach.
On the
Like,
beach,
I hope
yeah.
he's doing something.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our very best good furry friend Onyx. What do we think?
Yes, the best furry little floppy tongue boy there ever was. But also, where is he?
My question was, who is Onyx?
I'll do you one better. Why is Onyx?
But wait, what is Onyx? Sorry, Con. I didn't want to join
You
the guys
guys.
on that against you there, but the joke was right there in front of me. I had to go. I had to do it.
I wrote my notes first this week, so they just kind of ganged up on me on this one.
I just saw Johnson. I had to do it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay,
Onyx
so
is
our
great.
actual... Oh.
As long as he doesn't die, I'm content. So
Yes,
Yeah.
because if he does,
I
will
quit.
riot.
Yeah, I will riot. That's 3.
That's 3.
It's riots hanging by a thread.
Our actual question regarding Onyx is, will Onyx play a key role in the plot, or is he mainly just a cute animal sidekick? I personally really hope he does play some kind of key role. I also just want to know where he is, but I feel like he knows things somehow and he's up to something. And also it would be kind of funny because Fisher tried to kill him when he first showed up, but Sarah said no. So like, of course he'd end up being super important to the plot. So I would love the irony there, but I love he has so much personality and I just love that. And maybe he is just a cute animal sidekick, but I do feel like because of his responses to things and like how he responds to threats, but there have been times where Saras would have thought something was a threat and Onyx didn't. And so she's even kind of taking cues from him sometimes now. And I could maybe see something like that going on in the future. But the fact that he's missing right now is the weird thing that makes me feel like something's going on.
I hope this next book just opens with her like asleep, and then all of a sudden she's getting like a sloppy kiss, and it's just like she opens her eyes, and the first
And it's
person
Kingfisher.
we see is Onyx, and then you can just feel content for the rest of the book.
God, I hope so. But then, like, why was he missing for the last 8 chapters of this book?
And how did he get to Amontreath?
Yeah.
True. I don't know. Maybe she's not in Amontreath when it starts. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
maybe.
the Horcrux.
I don't know. I don't know.
He's the source of power.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I was just thinking maybe he is the last part of his mom, and that was why he was in the forge. Because remember, Morel says that his mom is always with him. And Onyx is always hanging around him. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's a soft theory. Anyway, I just wrote here, I put, nah, he's something. He's something.
I said I vote for cute animal sidekick because ain't everybody gotta be somebody.
All right. That's
I
cool.
did read a book
fair.
where the king had this like cute little dog, and then it turned out like at the end of the book that it was a girl the whole time and could like shapeshift and just like was his dog, but like was feeding information to somebody else and was actually able to find out that people were trying to poison him and all the things. But it was like a girl the whole time.
At first, I thought you meant the dog was just female this whole time, and he
No,
thought
it was like an actual
What a
girl.
twist.
Like, and it like
A human girl.
shapeshifted to an actual girl. So maybe Onyx is like a shapeshifter or
funny.
something.
He's been saying good boy the whole time.
No, my actual note here was maybe Onyx will go off to a rich cousin's house in the countryside for like 5 books and live a peaceful life until the final book at Fleetfoot. No, we just don't have to worry about him.
He'll be fine.
Yep. All right, we are moving on to ships, and it is my duty as the Dockmaster Lauren to be here and be summoned as we talk about the ships in this book. Thank you for that. So, which relationships, like romantic or platonic, are the strongest in this book?
Ren and Fisher, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I kind of wrote that as a joke, but
No, for real.
But honestly, yeah, for real. But
That's fair.
also, possibly Kerrion and Onyx now.
That's true. Onyx does hang around Kerrion a lot.
And
Carrying
Karen was
in
looking
his
for
house.
He
him.
was looking for him. He's got a soft spot for Onyx, I think.
Oh my God!
in
What
his
if
house
Onyx is Finran?
I honestly thought about it, but I was like, I don't know. Man.
That would be a stretch, I think.
Oh, okay.
It would again be
Crazy.
weird because he has been in the room while Kingfisher and Saras were like going at it. I was like, I don't know if I would approve
True.
of
And-
that activity.
And Kingfisher literally was about to kill him with a sword when
Yeah.
he
That's true.
first saw him. So
No, I definitely think Saras and Kingfisher, obviously, strong relationship. I also think, as much as I'm skeptical of Everlane, Renfis and Everlane, I could see
Yes.
that
Could
totally
see it,
being a
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, me too.
then, of course, we have Talladeas and Everlane, question mark? I could see that. If she's evil, he's evil, maybe something. Or if she's still a
Switching it up.
vampire.
she's a vampire.
He's a vampire.
Yeah.
I could
Maybe
see that.
they maybe he met her when she was like being held hostage or something, and maybe he did some like nice stuff for her, kind of like he was doing with Fisher, like while she was being held captive or something.
Well, and if she is going to end up being a vampire and he's helping her and Saras, like he's helping Saras and Everlane like
Yeah.
learn what it is to be a vampire and all the things, and so they start having some one-on-one lessons,
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See it.
This is how you bite.
Exactly.
Biting 101.
And
I'm
then,
there.
of
That should be a session at Enchanticon.
course, I'm biting 101.
Riding 101.
Biting 101.
Consensual biting.
Bring your teeth.
Everybody comes in and gets a pair of fake vampire teeth, like those really
BYOT.
cheapy plastic ones that don't
Yeah.
really fit in your mouth. And then Laurith and Ishabal, we've already talked about them. And then
Yeah.
Kerrion and Kerrion. He just really
Aw.
loves himself.
I thought that was another C for con.
Oh, Con and Kerrion. That's what I meant.
Cute.
I got
Thank
really
you.
lazy
I do
and
also.
didn't
I
want to type it all
agree.
out.
This is one of the strongest relationships in this book for sure. Yes, absolutely. Okay, the next question is, who are we shipping? Who are we not shipping? And are there any unhinged pairings you'd like to see throughout this series?
I have no opinions other than the fact that unhinged pairings should be referred to as shipwrecks because they're so bad, but you love to watch them.
Oh my god,
I'm here for that.
that's amazing.
Do that from now on.
I support it.
Yeah, I guess I missed the, like, who are we shipping? I answered it in the other one with Renfis and Everlane or Everlane and Talladeas. So my
Yeah,
bad
that's
on
okay.
that. But I think a most unhinged pairing that you would absolutely hate with everything in your whole entire being, but I think would be freaking hilarious because you would hate it so much, would be
Oh,
Kerrion
boy.
and Danby.
No, I don't want it to
Yes.
happen.
Because Kerrion liked Danya that one time. They had that one moment. And it would be such a like enemies to lovers thing, and you would
Yeah.
hate it, and I would be here for it.
It'd be so
would
good.
hate it because I don't want freaking Danby. That's what makes me think. If anything in this book has made me think that freaking Danby will have a redemption arc, it's this weird chemistry with Kerrion.
I'm
Yeah.
actually fully behind that because I feel like Kerrion would try so much harder for someone who would make him try. I feel like he's
Yeah.
had a lot of
Sure.
times with people who don't like, they're like, oh man, yeah, you're so hot, I'll do it. But she's clearly like, no. And as soon as he hears no, I feel like he's going to triple down his efforts on
Oh
her.
yeah, for sure.
The only
For
reason
sure.
I would be against it is if she was like, no, because he's human, but now that he's hot fae, she would be like, oh, okay. Like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
like it
That's true.
for
That
that
was
from
her
That
her.
would be so classic Danby.
But imagine Danya, queen of the fae.
No, no, I don't want
Be
it.
amazing.
I don't want it. Callie's gonna really have to turn that around for me. She's gonna really have to do some of her best work to get me on Team Danya.
All right. Big question here. Where does Kingfisher rank in your book boyfriends list? And who's in your top 10? Top 10. All right.
I hate these questions.
I took the coward's way out. I'm proud of you for listing 10. Shout
I
out
know.
you.
I thought about it because at first when I put this question in here, I was like, who's in our top 10? That's so many. Maybe just like 3 or 5 is fine. But then I started listing some and I was like, I can't narrow it down to 3 or 5. So I did list 10, but it also feels really unfair to rank them because none of these fictional men deserve anything lower than a top 5 spot. And this
Right.
does not even include my romance genre book boyfriends. For example, anyone Emily Henry has ever written. Those would obviously be in my top 10. But here's my romantasy. Obviously, duh. Have you met Alex Nielsen or Wynn Connor or Charlie Lastra? Anyway, that's not who this is about.
Go bottom to top. Lead us to the top one.
Bottom to top. Oh, but see, that's mean because... okay. I'm gonna go
You're
top to bottom
muted,
because
John.
I feel like
I
this
know
makes
you said something funny, but
It
you're
was-
muted.
it looked good.
What'd you
It
say?
looked good.
I said you got to start from the bottom because people will probably freak out that he's at the bottom, that he's number 10. You should start at 10. You should start at 10
I
and go
know
up.
it's not fair.
Do it.
So I'm just, and I've changed this order like 6 times today. So please know this is not definitive whatsoever. But in the number 10 spot, I have Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran Fae.
Hurts, Connor.
You're going to lose their mind.
Bottom. Bedrock.
I can't. And I literally have moved this list around so many times since I typed it out. So I'm so sorry. I love Rune so much. Number 9 is Cassian. I might get some angry comments about that. Number 8, Max Antarius Farleone from Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. Number 7, Riddick Gamlin from the Empyrean series. Number 6 is Asriel. He's only this low because we haven't gotten his book yet. I have a feeling he will
shocked
be
by that
number
from
1
you.
as soon as we get his book, whenever that happens. Number 5, right now, I'm currently reading Heat of the Everflame from the Kindred's Curse saga by Penn Cole. So number 5, I got Luther Corbois. And then number 4, I have Kingfisher. 3, I have Kerrion. 2 is Dorian Haviliard from Throne of Glass. And number 1 is still Rhysand from Akatar. And you can fight me about that all you want. He will stay there for now.
I think that's the only one people will be like, yeah, solid, number 1.
Yeah, that checks out. Right. Honestly, though, as I was writing this, I was like, Dorian, though. I mean,
Yeah, Dorian. But also Kale.
Dorian. Don't laugh after you say his name.
I just, for her list, for my list, he'd probably be on there.
yeah.
Honestly, I feel bad because this is going to sound bad, but I don't remember books, like half of them. But once
What are
someone
books?
mentions the book or says a character's name, it like all floods back to me, and it's like, oh yes, this happened in that plot and these things
Yeah.
and those characters. Like it's not like an active running thing in my brain or at the forefront of my brain at all times. So right now, like Kingfisher, Renvis, Kerrion, they're like, I would say that, oh, they're top of the list. But then I'm like reading Con's list and I was like, oh, but Asriel, and then oh my gosh, Riddick, and then I was like, ooh, Rune, and so it's like they're all. I don't know how I would do that. I would have to like Google a list of book boyfriends to even remember half of them
Yeah.
and then remember how much I loved them, and then it would be impossible to rank them. So I decided I have mood boyfriends, and it just depends on what book I'm reading. So there's that. But
I
also,
feel like I could write your list for you.
ooh, okay, right now.
Maybe not right in this moment.
No, drop it.
I think
But
I
I
could
was
have
thinking about
for you
what's his
too.
name? Yeah. What's the one's name from Crave? Jackson? Is that his name?
Hudson.
Hudson.
Hudson Vega.
Hudson Vega. Yeah, that's the one. I know he'd be on there.
No, I love him. He's a vampire, guys, in case you didn't know.
Really?
Spoilers.
But I also just wanted to put this here while we're talking about book boyfriends. This week, Kyle and I were playing Stardew Valley, and I named our horse Renfist, and I jokingly said it's because I can finally ride him. And so I've been like, riding Renfist around in my town in Stardew Valley. And no, for real though. I asked Kyle, does it ever freak you out, or do you ever get annoyed or jealous because on podcasts or even right now I'm talking about riding another guy or all the things. Yeah. And Kyle said, and I quote, I even wrote it down so I'd remember the quote. He said, "I'm not intimidated by pixels and ink." So then I started swooning at my own husband and his comment. And so Kyle is still my number one boyfriend ever. So
That's
shout
so
out
funny.
Kyle.
Because I remember you
I'm not
asking
intimidated
that.
by pixels and ink. I was
I
like,
remember-
okay.
That's so funny you wrote it down, because I remember you asking that, and I remember saying something, but I was half on my phone, and then the room just went quiet, and I thought the
I was like-
conversation was over.
No, I was swooning and freaking out.
Oh my gosh.
You also put a pink sun hat on Renfist in Stardew, and every time she rides him, she sings Pink Pony Club.
I do.
my God.
And I do mean
Every time.
every
got a
time,
pink
even if
cowboy hat.
she's only off of it for 3 seconds, it will
It's just
play
Pink
again.
Pony Club, and then I move on. I just have to. So Renfist is wearing a pink cowboy hat, but Kyle started it when we started the game by getting a black cat, and he named it Kingfisher. And
did.
we started Stardew
Aw.
probably the week we started reading the book. So we have a cat named Kingfisher, and now that the cat loves us so much, it randomly drops gifts, and it often drops actual fish. So he literally gives us fish. He's a
Wow.
kingfisher.
All of our animals
He's
are
a
named
fisher
after
king.
Wow.
books we're reading.
I know.
I love that. That's
Anyway.
cute.
Well, I
Fun
think
facts. Also play Stardew. So
I think we're on to the actual
this is not a paid ad.
the actual theories or questions, I guess, prompting our theories in this book. The first one we have here is, who do you think the true antagonist is?
I think it's the gods. We got so much interaction with them in book 1 and learned that they can take out an entire realm on a whim or interfere heavily in people's lives, even if they can't, quote unquote, see Saras anymore, whatever that means. I definitely don't think we are done with the gods, and I would be way more concerned about them than anyone currently living in one of the realms that they can control.
Okay, I think it's capitalism. That the nature of control of natural resources such as Quicksilver or water in order to maintain power amongst a privileged elite is perhaps the most evil that could be done in any world. And I sure hope it's not happening in my country. Surely not.
You could have just said Madra and Billicon, but sure.
Just at them next time.
Yeah. Just call him out by name, Kyle. Call him out.
Get them on Twitter.
No, I think it's the fates, quote unquote, or however the fate of the world is going to be portrayed, whether maybe not is the gods or whatever, because I think it's Laurith who talks about how he's seen every outcome, and no matter what, when Kingfisher and Saras get together, that's the end of everything or whatever. And so it's whatever this overarching power of maybe even something the gods can't control. And I don't know if the fates will be portrayed as actual people, or if it's just going to be them, defying odds and being that 0.1% chance that things went this other direction or whatever. But it's going to end up being something that maybe they, I don't know, whether or not they confront it or can control it. But that's going to end up being like the big one.
I would say the gods, except they're not supposed to like be able to see them anymore. And my question here was, does that still only apply to Saras, though, or can they like still see Ren's fate or like Laurith and Danya? It would make total fantasy / fae sense for the deal to be that the gods can't see her anymore, but they get pissed about it and end up going after them or something, or like foiling their plans to stop them from saving their world when they want it to be destroyed. So like either way, I think they're going to get involved and we'll see more of them, unless like in some way Zareth just kind of like literally lied to her or kind of bit the truth, and maybe he did something with the other gods, like he's preventing them from coming back or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, he's the god of chaos. That would totally make sense. So he could be just controlling everything right now. And the other gods, maybe he was just making shit up, and the other gods don't even know what's going on. They're just doing their own thing, and he's just down here like, he's at the tree. He's like, I'm gonna, destroy this realm, billions of people, and I'm gonna have these two run circles around themselves over here in this world and just have a bunch of fun with it.
That's the last time we leave you with the tree on a pilgrimage, dude.
Right. He's like
So
the
what are-
youngest sibling or something.
Yeah.
He's
middle
the
child.
Hayden of the gods.
The Hayden of the god. But then what are like Bal and Mithin in all of that? Because we meet them and we see them.
So they're not full gods, though. They're more like, they call them godlings. So they're more like, I don't think demigod is the right word either, because it's like
They might
half
be.
god. But I don't think they're at Zareth level.
Something that could be a god if they had enough time, basically. Like they
Yeah.
grew into that sort of position, or the position opened. Who knows? But
So I don't think they have nearly as much power as, say, Zareth.
I think I was thinking about it as you were talking about like how the gods aren't able to see them. And if it is like a Fae deal where they literally cannot see Saras, but they can still see everyone else, I feel like were I a god in that position, I could pretty easily be like, there's one spot in the world I can't see. I'm going to assume she's there because she's the one thing I can't see, and then just show up there. But I
Or
don't
just
know.
use a mirror, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Just like a Medusa.
I didn't think it was like that. I figured it was more like almost like they would forget that she exists at all. That was, I guess, sort of how I was interpreting that. Like, I don't
More like a memory wipe type of thing.
sort of, or like maybe they'll think that she was killed at some point, but if they can't see her, I would just take that to be like more that she is invisible or just unknown to them altogether, not necessarily that there's just a black spot wherever she is, or it looks like her phone is dead when they go to find my friends. I don't think it would be
She
quite as
turned her
much like
maps
that.
off on Snapchat.
Yeah.
But he did say like none of the other gods care anymore. They just wanted to
Right.
wipe out the tree altogether, and he was the
That's-
only one who did. But at the same time, feels the need to hide her from all these other gods who apparently don't care.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what,
So
that's what I
that
think
does
too.
feel a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A little iffy.
I can see it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would I need to be hidden if they don't even care?
Yep. I'm with you. I wasn't until now, but I am totally there now. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Our next theory question is, what do you think the title of the next book means? So what do you think Brimstone implies?
Probably Brimstone, if I had to guess.
Ooh, that's a good
Wow.
theory.
Oh.
That's why you have me here.
That's the only reason.
I had written, clearly, since Quicksilver and Brimstone are archaic terms for mercury and silver, respectively, and mercury's boiling point is 356.73 Celsius, and sulfur's boiling point is 444.6 Celsius, that's a difference of 8787, which might be a clue since it's a repeating number. 87 is the atomic number of francium, which is extremely radioactive, which is a song by a band called Imagine Dragons. So dragons?
I love you so much.
I wrote, if there are effing dragons since this paragraph has been written, LOL. Shaking my head.
Yeah. If I see a dragon
Amazing.
in the next book, I'm playing that song. I'm waking up.
I absolutely 1000% believe there will be dragons.
Especially after the bonus POVs, I feel like that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
locked it in.
Especially after the bonus POVs.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Dragons.
I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Are there any theories about the magic system that we maybe haven't seen yet?
I honestly hope that there is none, and that magic just works, and nobody alive truly understands how or why or what the limits are. And it's just like some people have magic, and they're like, yeah, I can do this. I don't know why. Sometimes I can only do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be totally for this. I wrote, like, why define it? It's magic, which by all accounts should really have no limits at all.
And I feel like I haven't read like any books that have that. Like everyone's very clear on the magic and how it works and the rules and all the things. But I'm not against just like an open world that literally anything could happen. I kind of
Freeform magic.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're going to do it anywhere, the Fey Realm's the perfect place to do it. It's like it's supposed to be a place of absolute chaos where nothing makes sense. So why have any limits on what magic could do or how it manifests?
And if the god of chaos is in charge,
Yeah, exactly.
makes sense.
True. I do feel like Throne of Glass and Akatar have a more vague magic system. There's not a ton of like hard limits and rules, but then we've also read some series where it's like very clearly defined in book 1. These are the ground rules and the limitations for the magic.
Yeah.
So because we didn't really get that in this book, I don't know that we will really get clear limitations and ground rules for the rest, especially because there are so many different types of creatures in this book, and they all seem to kind of have their own magic or no magic at all.
But even in like Akatar or Throne of Glass or some of the other books that we've read, there might not be like 100% set rules and everyone maybe has a little bit different magic. There's still limits. And then there's always that one person that is somehow more powerful than... What are you doing? That looks so weird behind the microphone. There's still like that one person that has like more than everyone else or, defies the odds, but there still has to be odds to defy. And this book still feels very like just none of it makes sense or matters, and every single thing is different. And she might be like the most powerful alchemist, but there's still been, I don't know, the random god swords that are doing this, and then there's a freaking huge dragon doing that, and it's just I don't know.
The most powerful alchemist could still be among the weakest of magic users in this world. If it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the question, did the bonus content change any of your opinions about characters or motives? Oh.
Yes, it
Good
changed
question.
my opinions about Talladeas, like big time.
okay.
At the end of the book, I was like, why are we just alone in the room with this random vampire guy? And I was kind of freaking out. And the only reason we had to maybe trust him is because Kingfisher called him Tal and let Talladeas bite Saras to try to like save her. But I'm like super skeptical. We just see him as like henchman basically to Malcolm, this whole thing. But in the Maze POV chapter, we get a lot more of Kingfisher and Talladeas' relationship and friendship, and it's still not like 100% best friend buddy, but it's still like I understand where we are, that we can trust him a little bit more, hopefully, and he also just seems like a generally good guy. So big time shift on Talladeas. Generally good guy.
Thank you. Yes, I am totally with all of that. I also really loved that the bonus chapters gave us the whole moment where Kingfisher and Saras first met and just flipped the whole thing upside down.
Good point.
I absolutely loved that. We did get so much more on Kingfisher in general, but seeing his perspective of how they met and knowing what he knows after the book has ended was just a really cool thing to read. Do you mind?
It's the putting her over the microphone on the other side every time that gets me. It's amazing.
Our next question is about how Callie said in a TikTok that the Kingfisher bonus chapters are super important for book 2 and they have things you need to know before reading Brimstone. What do you think those important clues are?
I have no answer, just that it made me angry to read that.
I know that you don't like information, like important information.
Oh, I love information.
Because they should be bonus. I understand that. But she is including the maze in the new release of the Quicksilver book that has like its new cover and stuff that comes out in August. And then she's made the other chapters free on her website for literally anyone to read. It's not like it's behind a paywall of some sort.
I know.
And I don't know. I think the only information from it that's going to be like vital is the fact that dragons or like this relationship with Nom Shakrai or whatever. Like all of that is the only thing I think that's going to end up being like vital information. The rest of it I think is bonus. It lets you see a different perspective on somebody, that kind of stuff.
The only thing that to me was like aggravating about it was that she said it was vital information. And I kind of was thinking like, if you have this whole story planned out, all vital information should be in the main story. Like I'm fine with bonus chapters having the, the extra information and the bonus stuff because that's what it's there for. But if it's vital to the story, I feel like it would have found a way into the story. And
I think it will.
I mean, like when it was written, not like she releases Quicksilver and all that and is like, okay, here's the whole story, and then come back and be like, oh, actually, you need this before the next book. And I'm like, why wasn't it in the book when you wrote it?
No, I mean, I think it will be it will still be at least referenced at a very minimum in Brimstone if it's something we need to know for Brimstone. I don't think she's going to like leave her readers in the dark. You know what I mean? Like I think because she got picked up for traditional publishing, there was probably a delay in, when the new Quicksilver book could be out and then when Brimstone could be out. And so this could have just been something in the meantime to give readers like something extra, but then whatever you really need to know, I don't think she's going to like leave it out of the series altogether.
And as a brand new author, like not, I guess, brand new. She has other books, but like as part of this book, before it exploded, like this is her first big book out there. It was originally, the first POV chapters were originally so just people would sign up for her newsletter. And it was just like, you do this and I'll give you that kind of a thing. And it just trying to get any sort of attention on her books and her stuff at all. So it worked, it did. But yeah, and it wasn't like meant to be some, like I do feel like, maybe not all the time, but I do feel like there are some books that come out with like 400,000 copies, all with just like a tiny, tiny sliver of information. That's not really anything good. These are really good bonus chapters that she's done a really good job on. And
these are better than some of the others I've read, I will say. But like, it's just, there's a core part of me that I guess is just like a purist of everything in the story should be in the story. But that's just me.
She might be putting these chapters in the Brimstone that is coming out like at the end of it as like bonus content for those, and then it won't be on her website because it's in the book or whatever. I don't know, but I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I feel like definitely the brief convo with Morel might be important because she also mentions like I said earlier, she mentioned something about his mother always being with him, and it's my opinion that is inferring that he has something that she has like bound her soul to or whatever. Yeah, whether it's the
amulet or whatever.
Yeah, because it's like if it's
I was thinking about
the
his,
necklace.
like, actual necklace.
Yeah, the relic thing.
Yeah,
relic.
Especially if he says it holds great power. So it's like not only has blood magic from the witches, but then also part of her soul is in there too. Like I feel like a combination of those things would make it like super strong. But then it would be interesting when he says that it's not going to last forever. So there's that kind of difference there. But also I feel like the moment in shared time when Fisher is with the twins and then Saras is supposedly up with Zareth. I think that's gonna, I don't know. Like I just, cause that's like, it's not like time. It's not like they messed with time, but there's obviously an ability for those things to be happening at the same time. It's like the whole like infinity loop type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's going to have some later implications, or at least the ability to be able to do that. Because I mean, because then Saras might be able to do that like down the road. Like she may be able to go like into the past or something and like do something. So I'm interested to see how that works out with that.
Yeah, I definitely think the conversation with Morel about Fisher's mom is super important. And I do think those are things that could just come back up later and they could reference that had happened, but getting the actual POV of that point in time was really cool. And then there's also the thing that she said about Fisher guarding his true name. Yeah. That was like the first time we've had confirmation that wasn't his name. So I'm wondering if that will come up. I don't even know if that would come up in Brimstone. If this is supposed to be a 5-book series, I could see it maybe being longer before we actually learn his real name, but Could come up later.
I could
for
see
sure.
it being revealed to Saras, maybe that it's not his real name, not that we know what the real name is, kind of.
And then we get like a whole book of her being like, Dave, Bill, trying to
Simon.
get him to react. Yeah.
I just think it would be so funny if Kerrion named his sword Simon, and then that's also Kingfisher's name. I just think it would be so funny.
I think it might be possible for like if it's, which goes into this next question, if it's a dual POV that the reader might know before any other characters do. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like probably not. Maybe not in this next book would anyone outside of the reader know. But we have heard that Brimstone is dual POV. Whose POVs do you think we're getting, and why?
I think the description blurb for Brimstone actually answers this question. If we want to read it on podcast here, maybe?
Read it.
Okay.
Out
Let me find it,
loud.
please hold. Out loud.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
Read it quietly to yourself.
The podcast is just silent for like 2 minutes. Everyone
We're all like,
takes a moment to read.
Wow.
This is such a great podcast. 5 stars. Anonymous user.
Okay, I think this is the same one that's on. Who is rating this book already? It's got 73
Ooh.
reviews on Brimstone. Or
People
on
do that,
Goodreads.
and they're just like, I'm so excited for it. And then they'll
Yeah.
also be like, I'm never going to read the second one because the first one sucked. 1 star. And I'm like, dude,
I know, it's
that's
so
not
dumb.
fair.
I hate it when I see that on like Amazon stuff too. They're like, 5 stars, haven't received it yet, but I'm so excited. I'm like, okay, that's
Not how that works, but all right. So this is the little blurb that's on Goodreads. I think it's the same one that's on like Amazon and all the kind of pre-order sites. But it says duty, blood, honor, power. Duty's starting off strong.
I was laughing because Kyle went blurb.
Blurb.
Okay, start again.
Okay. Saras Fane doesn't want power. The very last thing she needs is her name whispered on an entire court's lips. But now that she's been crowned Queen of the Blood Court, she's discovering that a queen's life is not her own. A heavy weight rests upon her shoulders. Her ward and her brother need her back in her homeland. ... But the changes that have strengthened Saras have also made her weak. Born under blazing suns, Saras will surely die if she makes her way home through the Quicksilver, which means that once again, she must send someone else in her stead. And then in quotes, in bold, it says, keep your mouth shut, stick to the shadows, and for the love of all 7 gods, do not crack any jokes.
She's sending Kerrion back. Oh my
A
God.
Carrion point of view.
So there's one more
Maybe.
paragraph.
Saras
There's
and
one more
Kerrion.
paragraph. I don't think it's a Kerrion point of view because it says Kingfisher of the Aegean Gate has defeated armies and survived all manner of horrors, but traveling back to Zilvarian with Kerrion Swift might just be the
Oh
death
my
of him.
God.
The male just will not shut up. Hidden daggers await them down the narrow alleyways of the Silver City. Unfolding secrets pose impossible threats. Fisher must wrangle the smuggler and accomplish his goals quickly if he wants to see his mate again. And then bold at the very bottom, a darkness falls across Evelia. The realm and their friends are in danger. Together, Saras and Fisher will pass through fire and brimstone to save them.
Ooh, that's pretty good. So that does confirm she can't go back to Zilvarian.
Yeah. We get
And that she's
kind of a
queen.
lot. I know. Yeah. She's been crowned
We should
queen.
have read
I'm
this
like,
at the beginning.
I know.
That would have changed half this episode.
Ooh, okay.
I don't usually
So, yeah.
like to read anything about a book
I don't
before I go into it,
either.
even if it's like a sequel or whatever.
know, me
but
neither.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
I'm a bit disappointed because my guess was Onyx and Archer.
if only
Maybe we'll get a novella. Those two
Sounds like a
hanging
bonus
out.
chapter.
some more,
but,
yeah,
you know.
some more bonus chapters.
No, I just wrote that it was obviously going to be Saras and Kingfisher, which
Yeah.
means they're going to be separated, which I don't like. But I don't know. We
Called
should-
it. You had
It
this written
sounds
down
pretty
before
good.
we heard the blurb.
Yeah.
You did.
At least
What
you'll get
kind
to
of
read
romance?
Kingfisher's internal yearning.
Yeah, what kind of romance are we gonna get? We need more romances to be happening.
Laurith and Ishabal, Talladeas, Everlane? Renfis
Talladeas.
Everlane?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think those are our only
It's a whole
options.
bunch of things. I mean, Hayden could be with somebody. Kerrion could have somebody back.
We don't know
in the
how
human
long
world.
they'll be over there, so there might
Yeah.
be a lot of time
Yeah,
still
true.
in Evelia before they head over. So we might get some early spice to hold us over.
Maybe.
Good point.
Maybe.
I guess if
Mind
it says she's
spice.
been crowned queen, then they have to have done it at least once with her
Yeah.
vampire teeth before she leaves.
Sure,
Mind
yeah, for sure.
spice. I'm a big fan of that. It could also be like flashback spice. Like she's
Oh,
lonely,
sure,
but she
yeah.
thinks about blah blah blah, and then all the things
Yeah.
so that happens.
Sounds
in
like
books.
some like part of the Spice Girls.
flashback
Sporty
spice.
Flashback Spice.
Is what they call the reunion tour.
Yeah, they're all just in 90s gear, like normal.
Don't call it a comeback.
It's funny.
All right.
But yeah, I found the dual POV thing in a random TikTok. After finishing the book, and I went and looked at all of her TikToks that she's ever written, and it's just casually in a TikTok that she's like, I was talking to a friend and I was just super excited for her to read Brimstone because it's dual POV and blah blah blah, and I was like, what that feels like a big announcement, and like nobody's freaking out about that in the comments, so maybe it was just me, but I'm excited about it. So
Well, we've got some silly hypotheticals to get into as well. Starting with, which character would survive the Hunger Games?
I wrote none of the OG Hunger Games characters would survive if any is even just one of these Quicksilver characters were in the book.
No, But what if it was all the Quicksilver characters in their own Hunger Games, not with like the humans from the actual Hunger Games?
Got it. I think it would be Saras still.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's like
Saras
her
would win.
POV, and it'd just be like Katniss, where she's like the underdog, and she's coming from 12, and nobody thinks she'll win, but she's smart, and she tricks them and things, and it'd be like the same energy, same exact book. And then like Kerrion and Memphis and all of them would be like from 1 and 2 and 3 tricks, 1 and 2 and 3.
But then that means
Doesn't-
she would murder them?
I mean, you asked who would win. That's what it is. And technically,
How dare you?
she doesn't murder like all of them. Other people do that, or the mutts.
If they're coming into it, start of the book, just meeting most of each other for the first time, I think Malcolm would win. Because
I guess I wasn't thinking about the big bads. I was just thinking about like the ragtag group.
I'm thinking if it's like beginning of the book, she doesn't know any of these people. She comes in, Saras is like the first one to die if they're all having to kill each other.
Yeah, but in the Hunger Games, they don't just dump them in anymore. And if we're talking 75th annual Hunger Games, she like gets interviews, and they have like little parties and all the things before they get like little training and stuff before
Sponsors,
they're
yeah.
actually in there. Yeah, the whole bit. She's got time to learn who they are.
I think even with that, though, she has no power going into there. And her power that she would train with is Quicksilver. And that's not going to save you against a vampire king, especially if he's on the little slot next to you and he can just look to you and be like, I'm going to rip your head off.
But didn't she already defeat him, Kyle?
Yeah,
With him
after
being
a whole
vampire
book
king?
of becoming better. She doesn't get that at the beginning of the Hunger Games.
Also, though, I feel like Malcolm has everybody else do his dirty work for him. So if he were on his own in the Hunger Games, I don't know if he would win.
Yeah, does he get all his feeders with him?
Probably
Yeah.
not.
This is my posse.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Oh.
picked Kerrion because he's squirrely and resourceful. My money would be on him.
No one would expect it.
Exactly.
That is true.
They'd be like, oh, he's just the comedic relief of this Hunger Games.
He'd be like, hey, Mitch.
And he'd win them all. All right. Who would make the best or worst roommate?
I think Archer would be the best roommate.
Oh, he'd be so clean.
And the feeders would be the worst.
Ew. Yeah.
Feeders.
Ugh.
One feeder or all the feeders?
All of them. You have one bed, they're all bunked together. And you're like, oh my gosh. This sucks.
No jaws, just dripping constantly.
Ew.
They try to have friends over, and you're like, I'm sorry about my roommate, dude. They're so weird.
They're just like sitting on the bed, like staring at you guys, like. They do that a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Are you sure you don't want to hang out at your place?
I wrote Onyx would clearly be the best because he's super cute and cuddly and it would be great. Kerrion, as much as we love him, he would be the worst roommate ever.
Yeah.
There would always be a sock on the door. You could never actually use your room for anything unless he's also using the room for everything. So
If it was a roommate with benefits situation, it might
I
be
was
he
gonna
might be
say.
the best roommate.
I might contest this. I don't think he would mind another entrant. There may be no, sock on the
definitely
door.
not. Yeah, he wouldn't care. He'd be like, "Come on in."
Yeah. Hey, good to see you.
don't mind us.
Trying to have a normal conversation with you during. You're like, I can't talk to you right now.
Wanna get in
Just
on
finish,
this?
Finish that, and we'll talk later.
The next question we were asked is, who's most likely to have a secret Pinterest board full of cursed aesthetics? And I just wrote, Danby. I just think it'd be funny.
This is honestly the best answer. I really tried to think about it and I couldn't come up with one. And I think you are absolutely right. I think Daniel would have a horribly cursed Pinterest.
Yeah.
If this crew had to run a small town bakery, who's doing what? Break down the roles.
Get it, Kyle.
Yeah, the rolls. I see what you did there.
I gave it some thought. I'm saying Archer runs the ovens, obviously. He's a little fire sprite sort of deal going for him. Saras, decorate the iced goods. Icing listens just as well as Quicksilver. Everlane would be the dough maker, shaper before things go into the oven, I feel like. Onyx, taste tester, flavor approval, clearly.
Absolutely.
Renfist, Laurith, Kerrion, and Kingfisher run the sales up front, because if you're selling cakes, you put the beef cakes where people can see them.
Yes, Kyle.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely.
It's such a great layout.
Amazing. The beefcake.
I'm here for that.
Yep.
So our next question is, which two characters should not be left alone in a room together?
I put Kerrion and anyone, but especially Dania.
I'm dying because earlier today when I was doing these notes, I think I went back and deleted it, but then I have to double check because I literally wrote almost word for word. I wrote Kerrion and anyone, ... but specifically Dania.
Love that.
So I saw this and I was
I'm here
like,
for
Kyle,
them.
did you actually write this or did I leave my
Yeah.
exact words?
I definitely did.
I don't know. I'm shipping them. I'm here for it.
I'm not yet, but maybe I'll get there.
I think I am because of you. Like, that's
Out
so
of spite.
savage of me, but I think it's
Shipping
funny.
them out of spite. That's so rude.
She's shipping your shipwreck.
Amazing.
Okay.
All right, we are looking ahead to Brimstone. Question for Con and Lauren. How do you feel about having to wait for the boys to read Brimstone before you?
Yeah, so we haven't really talked about this a whole lot yet, but we are hoping that all four of us can read Brimstone together
Nah.
on the podcast. Hey,
Nope,
don't
we're not
say
doing that.
No,
Nope.
don't.
What?
Do that.
Nope.
Hey,
Stop.
stop
Nope.
it. Yes.
You don't have time.
Nope.
You have to read it slow and steady with
Nope.
us.
Nope,
Yes.
that's not fair.
Why?
Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx
No,
Storm.
that's different
Storm.
because
How is it
Onyx Storm
different?
came out months before we actually got to it on the podcast.
This will be like the same week as we're recording week one.
I don't think that's fair to us.
We're starting
but
it
that's just me.
immediately.
I don't think it's fair to us.
I
That's just
didn't
me.
expect this argument, so I don't have a side. I don't know what to do.
But isn't it going to be fun to like the
tearing us
whole
apart.
Just
time?
because-
It will be like the last episode, like this one, and we're theorizing about everything. But instead, it will be every episode like that. That'll be fun.
So let me read the rest of what I wrote here for John Cudden. We have never done that before where we've all like read a book for the first time together. So there are some logistics to figure out. And I'm definitely nervous about internet spoilers, but I think it'd be such a fun experience to theorize openly together for the first time throughout the course of the whole book. And it will be new and there will be like so many people reading it with us.
Yeah. You'd have to commit to not, because you do that sometimes where like it was one
Yeah.
Throne of Glass book that I had
Queen
to
of
stop,
Shadows.
But yeah, and Connor was like, John was so into it, he just finished it. And I was like, screw that guy, I have to stop. I have to record a podcast. So you would have to actually commit to not doing that.
Yeah. John. Don't give me that
smile.
face. I do not trust you
I
right now.
foresee a conversation in your guys' future.
Talk about this later.
Yep, we will.
I didn't even think about this. I didn't even think about it.
This will be our very first release though, like real time book release on the podcast where it comes out. We get to start reading it and talking about it immediately.
And we'll have done, except for I guess me and John reading together and Connor and Kyle reading together first, we'll have done all the other switch arounds
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the time we get here. So it'd kind of be fun to just like open
Yeah.
it to all four of us being first time
And
readers.
since none of us have read it, we're actually going to read the entire book live and comment on it the whole
Yeah.
time.
Just live stream.
Live stream.
So tune in for, 40 something hours.
40 hours. Because Kyle listens at 1 time speed. So
No,
get
because
ready
I feel
for
like it would take a long time if we were literally reading the book and just looking up to comment.
Oh,
We'd take a long
Yeah.
time to get
It
through
would take
it.
a very long time.
yes, it would.
Yeah.
Probably because Connor and
Anyway.
I would end up talking about 100 other things.
Probably.
Other than the book.
And I'd get up to pee every 5 minutes.
Yep.
That's true.
All right.
Okay.
Where do you think the story will go in the next books?
On my bookshelf.
Geographically. Great answer.
Yeah.
Geographically, after creeping on the new Quicksilver map in the ebook, so if you didn't know, the ebook has been updated on Kindle Unlimited. So if you re-download it, there's a new map in there, and there's the maze bonus chapter. These are this is the ebook that will be printed for like the new special edition of Quicksilver. So I was creeping on the map, and I think we are definitely going to the Balkidder clans because there's a new place on the map called Nevercross in the Balkidder clan lands. And then I've been wondering if we will get more info on Fisher's mom from the witches. So that would be really fun if we like get to meet more of them. And then on Terran Ross Island, there's a new place called Graves Point, and there are pirate ships next to it and some mermaids and sea dragons on this map.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, so I'm freaking out about that. In terms of the actual story, I genuinely have no idea. I'm assuming we'll also visit the Lycian Fae and like the Shield at some point because it's the only other part of the map that none of our characters have been to yet, which is kind of crazy. We've like covered a lot of this map in book 1. So I'm curious to see how many places we visit in book 2 and if we get like a map of another realm at some point, or if we stay in Avelia for most of it, or
Hopefully Saras' home realm a little bit more of a map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a map always expands. Like you only
Yeah.
get the little bit in book 1, and then you get a little bit more and whatever. So it'd be fun to get another realm.
yeah,
Or
so that could
even just
be
more.
Well, and there are a couple other places like the Midnight Eye and the Breach, but they're all sort of close to places we've already been. I don't know. There's a few more. There's definitely some more on here to explore, but it'll be interesting to see how much gets added or where all we go in book 2. And then the next question was, which questions from Quicksilver are you hoping to have answered?
No one else had answered by the time I got here, so I just wrote all of them, all the questions. I think we've listed more questions in this episode
Yep.
than we have answered, so just all the questions to be answered would be great.
But you know they're not all going to get answered. We'll have a few
No, I
answered.
think a lot of them will. Yeah, I'll just get more questions.
Way
out of
more
it.
questions. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What stakes do you think are about to get raised?
The kind that kill vampires. But
Good call.
Medium rare.
my favorite.
Here.
Filet mignon, perhaps?
All I wrote actually was dragons. All caps.
Yes. And the witches. I want more from the witches. I feel like there's got to be some tension there.
Yes.
Hey, tension, you stole my note again. The new
Oh.
power
Oh,
dynamic
no.
between
Hey,
Fisher and Saras. Yes. Because who doesn't love some good tension, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't read your whole note.
Yeah, it's fine.
Honey. I was talking about tension with the witches. No.
It's gone forever.
Oh, dang it. I tried to undo your move and then it undid mine.
Which characters are you most worried about heading into Brimstone?
Oof. This is our last question, which is crazy. I honestly don't know, though. I was worried for Laurith because we got so much backstory and fell in love with his character. But since he's totally going to fall in love with Ishabal, I feel like he'll stick around for a while. It just makes me nervous that I feel like most of the characters either have plot armor or we just don't know them well enough for them to like be killed off. But
Sure.
that makes me nervous. That makes me worried for everyone.
It's almost like we don't know enough about them, so they could be killed off. We just might not care. It's when
Yeah.
you care about them that they become
I know.
the bigger issue. Because they
become
can still
so
die.
killable.
You just would cry.
So killable.
Like a lot.
But that's
And
it. I
riot
feel
in
like
your
if we
case.
start getting backstory on anyone in Brimstone, I'm going to be like, oh no.
That's how I felt about Laurith. When Laurith
Yeah.
went through the little portal, I was like, he's gone.
Regis is going to come up and be like, when I was younger. And we're
I'll be
like,
like,
"Oh, no."
Stop it, Renfus. Shut your beautiful mouth.
I said that I would be most worried about Talladeas because, again, the double agent stuff, like Kingfisher would already know that he's stuck on the other side, but said other side may not know about the help he gives Saras or her gang. But if the baddies do find out, Talladeas would have a lot to answer for to the whatever's left of the triumvirate. I could easily see him like helping out the good side for a while, and then it being found out that he's been doing it. And then he just like disappears, maybe doesn't die in front of us, but we know that he's getting some sort of punishment that cannot be good.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm just skeptical of Everlane. I think is the only one I'm like worried about or think about often, just because she could totally be fine and the joke will be on me, but there's just something there I can't shake. So when I think about like characters I'm actually worried about, whether they'd be okay or good or bad or if they're going to screw everything up, it's Everlane.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Renfis, actually, because he's kind of this like weird odd man out right now. Like Danya has her little broody chip on her shoulder thing going on. Laurith just upgraded with a new god sword. Like Taylena and Ishabal will probably be covering Everlane for a while. So Ren's just kind of like out here, especially with the army in limbo now. Like I'm assuming the wars like kind of come to a halt. I'm not really sure if there's going to be like a ton of fighting between like the Fae and the Feeders anymore. So I don't know, man.
That actually brings up a great question of what is Bellicon doing? And like, will Renfis still be with the army under Bellicon's command and trying to do that potential stuff while they're
like
over
did
here?
Bellicon literally go back to the Winter Palace and just like keep doing his thing? Like,
Well.
I mean, he
I'm
could have
assuming
spun
so.
more lies about the other people because I think
Right.
most of the stuff he tells is lies about like Finran and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So yeah, I would love to see what he's doing.
yep.
I also want to know what is going on with, what was her name? Malway, who was like
Oh, yeah.
sort of the oracle at the Winter Palace,
yeah.
quote unquote.
Oh yeah, the old lady.
Yeah.
I bet
maybe
she
if-
knows a lot about Kingfisher's mom.
Yeah.
They were friends and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if we get some more Everlane backstory, maybe we'll learn some more about Malway as well.
Well, that's it. That's all our questions. Good job, everybody. Just for recaps for funs, because I think it's fun. At the cry counter, shout out Con for being our #1 crier for this episode, for the series.
Thank
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Good job, babe.
Leading the way with my one cry.
I hope you hold the title for long, long times.
No, thank you.
Well, get ready, because next week we'll be joined by the narrators of Quicksilver, Stella Bloom and Anthony Palmini, for an exclusive interview episode. We'll be chatting all about what it was like bringing this story to life, their favorite moments in the booth, what it takes to narrate a book like Quicksilver, and you don't want to miss it.
That's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait.
I'm so excited.
All right, well, everyone, it's time to get that glossary ready because Kyle and I are thrilled to lead Jon, Con, and all of our other first-time listeners into the adventure that is the Moonfall series, starting with When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Released in May of 2024, When the Moon Hatched has since taken book talk by storm, and we are so excited to jump in with all of you, especially with the sequel, The Ballad of Falling Dragons, set to release in February 2026. In this book, we will meet our morally gray FMC Rave and our fiercely beautiful MMC Con. Yes, that's Con pronounced just like our Con, except for this one's K-A-A-N. That's so fun. I know. I asked you once, like, do you know the characters' names? And you're like, no, I know nothing. I thought
You
that's
were
so
weirdly
fun.
excited about that. I was like, why is
know.
she so excited? I don't know anyone's name.
I know. I think it's so fun. His name is Con.
Oh
This
my god.
book, everyone, it's deep. It comes with its own glossary right at the front, right in the beginning of the book. So this is my advice for all of my first-time readers. Don't stress out about that. I encourage you to just jump straight to the story and only go to the glossary when you really need it. Don't try to read it first or you're going to have a lot of spoilers. The book does a really good job, honestly, like explaining things as you go. And if you're, decent at like reading it quick or together at one time, you probably won't need the glossary at all to like refresh your memory. But especially if you're reading week to week with us and hearing us talk about it, I doubt you'll need it at all. So there's also a family tree at the very end of the book, but it is at the end of the book for a reason. So don't jump ahead because you'll probably spoil something for yourself. Our first When the Moon Hatched episode will drop September 3rd. So get ready for dragons, get ready for drama, and get ready for a whole bunch of chaos.
Ah! I'm so excited.
Dun, dun.
I'm really nervous to be a reader for you, Connor. It actually makes me really nervous.
Why?
I don't know. I already read the book, obviously, and the whole time I just wanted to text you about it. So I just we'll see how it
I'm
goes.
honored. Are you nervous?
You're
because
usually the person
you don't
who
wanna
has read the
spoil
book
anything?
first. Yeah, you usually have read it first before me. This will be a whole new dynamic for us. I can't wait.
All right, everyone. That is a wrap on Quicksilver. Bonus chapters and all. We laughed, we screamed, we theorized wildly, and now we're closing the book for now. If you've loved diving into the story with us, don't forget to check out betweenpagesandfriends.com and consider joining our Patreon. That's where all the good stuff lives: spoiler and non-spoiler Discord chats, monthly book club picks, merch perks, and a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're reading, gaming, and obsessing over next. Until the moon, stay wordy, stay nerdy, don't stress, and stay blessed.
Bye.
Yay!
Bye-bye.
Until the moon hatches.
Just until the moon.
Just the moon.
Sucks if you're in Zilvarin.
Got 'em.
Yay, we did it.
We read the book.